Beautiful. I hadn't seen that, so also myself seeing it for the first time. Hello, dear Stuart, um, partners, friends of GIFT. My name is Zugiswa Kota, and I am joining you from the Public Service Accountability Monitor in South Africa. It's an absolute pleasure today, an absolute honor to be moderating this session, a very important session, a gathering that holds significant meaning for so many of us, for all of us. So I think, yeah, just taking a deep breath and taking in all those visuals and all that important stuff in the video. Just to take a moment before we begin to say that we unfortunately don't have simultaneous translation. Normally, as you know, GIFT is very good at that. So today will be, our session will be in English, but we will have automatic closed captions. So I will ask then for everyone to speak as slowly as they can. Very often I am a culprit of speaking too fast. So if we can speak slowly to ensure that the closed captions work as they should, and that our Spanish and French speaking colleagues can certainly also benefit from our inputs. Our hearts are full today. We join as colleagues, as partners, without a doubt, as friends, to mark what is the sunsetting of an amazing network, the Global Initiative for Fiscal Transparency, or as we know it, GIFT. We're here not just to say goodbye to this important network, but really to celebrate its deep and lasting legacy. After 14 years, GIFT may be formally sunsetting, but I have no doubt, and we have no doubt, that the community that's been created and built so painstakingly, the spirit that's been nurtured, and the change that's been sparked, those are all aspects that will endure forever. So GIFT has been certainly more than just a platform. It's been more than just a project. It will always be more than that. It's brought together a community, a constellation of passionate reformers, of fearless advocates, of thoughtful technocrats, and big-hearted believers in democracy, equity, and trust. And also big believers in fun, as we've all experienced in our network and sharing as part of the GIFT network. So this is really a space to celebrate. It's a space to share and honor that story. So throughout this session that we have together, please share photos, please share memories on social media. You can share things in the chat. Please feel free to do that as well. And also, please, if you are on social media, in particular on Twitter or X, please use the hashtags GIFT Community Lives On, GIFT Milestones, hashtag GIFT Legacy, and Fiscal Openness. And of course, you're free to make up your own hashtags as you wish. It's a creative, innovative, and very inclusive space. Speaking of photos, we do really need to make sure that we have one for our history books. So we'd really like everyone, and I'm glad to see quite a lot of us have our videos on. If you are able to have your video on, please have it on. Marianne from the GIFT team is going to take a group photo. So this is your moment. Just take a few seconds if you need to fix your hair, whatever you need to do, although everyone looks amazing. You don't need to do anything. We're going to take a moment, and then once Jan has been able to take the photo of the various screens, she can let us know that it's all good and sorted. So 3, when I get to 1, you must look your best. 3, 2, 1. Thanks, Jan.
Can we have one more, please?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
We count
And
again.
another countdown to 3, 2, 1. One more photo.
Perfect. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Jan. Great. Thank you for bearing with us. So let's really begin this celebration, a celebration of impact, of amazing memories, and of deep, meaningful work together. We'd like to start off with an input from Ana Patricia Munoz, who's the Executive Director of the International Budget Partnership. As many of us know, the IBP is a founding lead steward of GIFT. And so let's hand over to Ana Patricia for her opening remarks. Ana, over to you.
Thank you so much. There's not much to say after that great introduction. Buenos días, gracias por el tiempo que nos dan estando aquí esta mañana Thank you all very much for joining us this morning. I hope we all tried, including me, to take all in during these 2 hours. It's Friday, we're all very busy. But it's been more than a decade of hard work, so hopefully we can enjoy these moments together. I am Ana Patricia Muñoz, IBP's Executive Director, and I would like first to start by thanking all the stewards, all of you, for your work and friendship all over these years. Especially the lead stewards, the International Federation of Accountants, the government of the Philippines, Mexico, Brazil, the World Bank, the IMF, and my colleagues at the IBP who have been working really hard to build this community. When Raquel sent out the news that she was moving on to a new exciting role, she got a lot of responses right away, and she shared some of those with the team. And I have to say, of all those moving and long messages that recounted all the work that GIF has been doing over the past 14 years, the thing that struck me the most actually was not all the great accomplishments, the harmonization of the principles and participation, the great course that now has people attending from 40 countries. What was highlighted to me, and I actually went through AI to see if I was right, is that people highlighted the gratefulness, the trust, the community, and dare I say, the friendship that you have all built over the years. Changes and transitions are never easy, and this one has not been easy, especially. And I think it's important as we celebrate to recognize that the field, that the world, that civil society, that governments themselves are facing very challenging times. It's in that context that we are here to look into the past on how all this started, also to get behind the scenes and hear from the team itself on how they made it all work, but also to look into the future and how we can sustain the progress that has been made, but how we can continue to innovate. If there's one word that always struck me about the GIF team is innovation. You can see them evolving all the time, nonstop, despite changes and in spite of challenging circumstances. So with that, I want to thank all of you again. And I do want to say thank as well to the IBP team who has been working behind the scenes to make this transition as smooth as possible. Thank you so much. And I am very grateful to be able here today to witness one more time this great community. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Ana Patricia, and you've set the tone perfectly for what we have ahead of us. Before we start on our next segment, I'd like to ask everyone to please add to a word cloud. As you know, GIFT is always very interactive in the way we work. What one word comes to mind when you think of GIFT's beginnings? So if you could use the Menti code, you'll see the instructions there before you to fill in the word that comes to mind. What one word comes to mind when you think of GIFT's beginnings? So as you do that one word, using the Menti code that's on the screen in front of you now, you can use the QR code or directly type that code into the Mentimeter. We're going to move on. We'll come back to our word cloud a little bit later. One word that comes to mind when you think of GIFT's beginnings. Right. So now we're going to look forward. Our next segment is really looking at the founding reflections, how it all began. In this session, we're going to hear from some of the key figures who were there at the very beginning. We're going to hear from the visionaries and people who helped shape GIFT from the idea of a global fiscal openness movement to the very dynamic community it has since become. We're going to do our best to have each speaker have 4 minutes. I'm going to try and be strict with our time. We have a full, ambitious program. We're going to start with a quick video from someone who assisted GIFT in connecting with multilateral institutions, someone who brought a results-focused lens to fiscal transparency. Please enjoy this message from Jim Brumby, who is the former World Bank representative to the GIFT lead stewards. Let's take a listen to Jim.
Hi, everyone. Greetings. Sorry I'm not there with you today. Let me begin by thanking all those associated with GIFT, the stewards, the sponsors, everybody who's ever come to a GIFT meeting, and most importantly, the staff for carrying the mantle of fiscal transparency with such energy and vision for 15 years. It's important to remember, I think, that GIFT came together around a concept or an idea, and the idea was fiscal resources are the people's resources, and the people should have an opportunity to express their voice about the management of those fiscal resources. So public participation was a pretty controversial concept at the time, but it's very much at the centre or at the heart of GIFT, and I think since then it has become pretty well accepted generally. But that doesn't mean, of course, that it's practiced everywhere. There are many places that the opportunities for public participation and the underlying nature of fiscal transparency is really under challenge. Friends, I think 30 years ago, when concepts of budget responsibility and fiscal transparency first came to light, I really thought they were pretty unstoppable. I thought the sort of inexorable logic was that the fiscal sector could only be sustainable, truly sustainable, in an environment where there was voice for the public and where transparency was at the core of fiscal management. But that's proven not to be the case. There have been many setbacks along this path over the past 30 years. So what I thought might be something of a cakewalk and a relatively easy pathway has turned into something much closer to a grudge match. And the thing about grudge matches is that often there's not a real winner. It comes down to a set of moments. And in those moments, one side or the other might edge forward. And I think that's where we are. We're in a set of moments, and for each of those moments, we who have embraced the concept of fiscal transparency need to put forward our arguments, put forward our case, and try to lock in a more transparent way of managing the fiscal sector. One area that I think has changed quite markedly in the recent years is that around what exactly are the rights of fiscal agencies. What information should fiscal agencies hold? And what is their responsibility in relation to that information? For many years, on the revenue side, we've really made an argument that the fiscal agencies, the revenue agencies, need to be able to access different sources of information to triangulate. And this triangulation will allow them to confront tax evasion and to challenge tax avoidance. It's been pursued in good faith. But this perhaps can go a little too far or be unchecked. Take, for example, the Federal Taxation Service of the Russian Federation. Its website shows very succinctly that digital transformation has been absolutely at the core of its development, and that the latest phase of digital transformation will see that agency as a provider of big data for the whole of government and for other social purposes. In the hands of a polity that might be prone to capture, this can become a weapon or a source of influence in exercising that capture. Taken further, it can be a source of oppression. Friends, I think going forward, our case has never been more important. Our role is to step forward, to look for these moments, and to make our arguments in favour of transparency, and to make our arguments in favour of the accountability that is required for agencies that have access to vast arrays of private and other information. Our task is to win as many of these moments as possible, but whenever we don't win one, it's important to look to the next one, to make the argument again and to push forward. So thank you very much for this opportunity to speak with you, and I wish you well for a very successful event. Thank you. Bye.
Great. Thank you for that input from Jim. Really important. He's reminding us that we are in a set of moments, and that going forward, our case has never been more important. That was amazing, and I certainly could have listened to him for much longer. And now we're going to hear receive another video. We're going to hear from Manal Fouad, who's the former Assistant Director at the International Monetary Fund's Fiscal Affairs Department, and who was an early force behind shaping GIFT's vision and mission. Let's hear from Manal.
Good morning, everyone. I'm sorry I cannot be with you in this live event, but it's my pleasure to send this message to celebrate GIFT's legacy and how it shaped and contributed to advancing the fiscal transparency agenda. The world was just recovering from the 2008 global financial crisis when GIFT was established. Lack of fiscal transparency, of proper recording of fiscal operations and fiscal risks, and weak accountability were all main drivers of the crisis. It was in the aftermath of this crisis that the IMF decided also to revamp its fiscal transparency code to reflect lessons learned and began its collaboration with GIFT. To my knowledge, GIFT was the first place to bring together international financial institutions, governments, and civil society organizations in one forum. This unique structure established remarkable positive dynamics and synergies from which we and the PFM community benefited a lot. At that time, it was Richard Hughes at the Fiscal Affairs Department of the IMF, and currently the head of the UK Office of Budget Responsibility, who led the work on the IMF side and worked relentlessly to bring GIFT to global recognition. I want to emphasize a couple of things that I think reflect most what GIFT's legacy is for me, and I'm speaking here on my personal capacity. First is highlighting the importance of public participation. It is through GIFT's advocacy and promotion that we all understood how important public participation was to reflect a real democratic process in decision-making and to hold governments to account. In fact, the IMF's Fiscal Transparency Code was revised to include a principle on public participation, elaborated with input from GIFT. GIFT also provided us with local contacts in our fiscal transparency evaluation missions to assess this principle in the countries we visited. Second is the emphasis on the importance of the quality and integrity of the government's stewards in GIFT. I remember very well discussions with Juan Pablo on the fact that GIFT should not compromise on the membership of stewards just to please governments. Stewards needed to show genuine commitment to transparency and public accountability and not just pay lip service to it. This is something I found very noble and inspiring. Finally, it's the spirit of collaboration. We, lead stewards, all came from very different types of institutions and, to be honest, each with different agendas. We were all committed to transparency, but also had our corporate responsibilities to bear. GIFT, however, was a safe space, and with Juan Pablo and later Raquel, We worked in a harmonious and collegial way and resolved issues because, yes, there were at times some significant issues to be resolved, but we did so in a smooth and constructive way. In global institutions where turf and territoriality still dominate, this was a breath of fresh air. On a more personal level, I want to say that being part of GIFT, working with GIFT and IBP has been one of the most rewarding aspects of my work at the Fiscal Affairs Department of the IMF. When we designed the PFM online course, I took it at heart to make sure the course would benefit civil society and citizens as well. One of the highlights of the course was a roundtable discussion on the role of fiscal transparency and what it means, with representatives from GIFT, IBP, and the US GAO. I do believe that this has played a key role in the success of the course. To conclude, I want to say that thanks to GIFT, the standards for accountability and public participation are now part of the DNA of the PFM and fiscal transparency words. I say this as we are facing very challenging times where democratic and equality values are contested in many places, and I hope deep inside that we will manage to uphold the successes and achievements that the fiscal transparency community has gained through GIFT. And I'm hopeful because I know the legacy is in good hands, hosted by IBP, and thank you, Ana Patricia, and it will live on. So thank you, Juan Pablo and Raquel, as well as former and present GIFT staff, Marianne, Aura, Lorena, Albertina, to name a few, for all what you have given us. Thank you very much, and I wish you a great session today.
And thank you for those words from Manal. Some really important reminders around the institutional integrity of the network, but also sharing some what I feel are quite hopeful words. So now we're going to be hearing from someone whose leadership in institutionalizing participatory budgeting in the Philippines, where Juan Pablo currently is, became a global model. He's also a champion who helped shepherd the formation of the network in 2011. Please welcome Florencio Butch Abad, the former Secretary of the Department of Budget and Management of the Philippines. Butch, thank you for joining us, and over to you. I think your audio is still off.
Glad to be here. Good evening to everyone. But it's evening here. I come to this meeting with mixed feelings, as I guess some of you also are feeling right now. On the one hand, I look forward to hearing from old friends like Jim and Juan Pablo and Undersecretary Rolly is also here, who I've had the great fortune of working, especially in the founding of GIFT. But at the same time, I am saddened by hearing from Jan that this may be the closing ceremonies for such a great initiative as GIFT. I remember that GIFT followed closely the organization of the Open Government Partnership, which was launched in September 2011 in New York, where about 65 representatives, many of them heads of state of different countries, came to help launch such a groundbreaking event. And early the following year, followed the establishment of the Global Initiative for Fiscal Transparency, which I think it was a logical next step, because at the heart really of governance is fiscal responsibility, fiscal transparency, and accountability. And many of the issues that we encountered, not only here in the Philippines, but in the other countries, had to do with issues of fiscal reform. So I was very glad that the idea of coming together after the launching of the Open Government Partnership was the formation of a global initiative for fiscal transparency. Back home domestically, we had just won a 6-year mandate, campaigning very strongly on an anti-corruption and good governance platform. And our president then, President Noynoy Aquino, wanted us to work hard to make sure that we restore the trust of our people in government and also begin to attract back into the country foreign investments. Because at the time, President Aquino said, we should concentrate our budget in ensuring that basic social services are received by our people, especially in the area of basic education, public health, and social welfare, and the promotion of jobs and employment in the agricultural sector. So he gave us a directive as members of the economic management team to make sure that we introduce reforms that will make people believe in us, that we were serious about our anti-corruption campaign and good governance reforms. And one of the ways by which we thought we could get people to trust us was to be part of a network of peers in the field of financial budget process, to whom we could volunteer to be assessed for our performance. In fact, in the Philippines, back in the country, we worked with the media, the civil society groups, and the business community to help us evaluate our governance performance against global governance indices. And at the same time, got the multilateral institutions like the World Bank and IMF to get us to participate in their fiscal transparency and accountability assessment. That's why for us, the formation of GIFT was so critical, because we knew that it was going to help us a lot in ensuring that people really believed that we were serious about reforming the fiscal performance of government. And thankfully, especially in our participation, for example, with the Open Budget Index and other initiatives of the GIFT and the OGP, thankfully our people believe, and our foreign investment partners also agreed. So that in 2013, for example, we were able to receive our first investment grade rating, and at the same time, we got our people to participate in our participatory budgeting processes and bottom-up budgeting exercises, which became very popular in the Philippines. A project which actually we learned from a partner in the GIFT, Brazil, where it was already a program that was being implemented for some time. Other programs followed, like Bolsa Familia, the cash transfer programs, which also we were able to access through our partnership in GIFT and the OGP. So really, such a great initiative, such a groundbreaking activity, like the formation of the Global Initiative for Fiscal Transparency, was instrumental in lifting our country and getting us back on track for meeting the very basic needs of our people and getting our financial and budgetary process on a more sustainable and popularly acceptable process, where not only people benefiting, but they were also intimately participating in the exercises that we introduced. So I'm happy that we were part of this initiative, and I do hope that the legacy of GIFT will live on. Just yesterday, I was in a meeting with the leaders of our Autonomous Region for Muslim Mindanao for our second year program on fiscal education. And I told them that all of this started way back in 2011 when we realized that this was so crucial in promoting good governance and the support of people in governmental efforts. So I really am thankful to give for this developments in my own country. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, which we did give you a little bit longer just because you are joining in person, and I understand the difficulty of being brief. But thank you for those inputs, and in particular, thank you for what has been your enduring and long-lasting commitment to the network and in all the ways that you've shown up and provided support to celebrate and to contribute to GIFT's lasting legacy. So maybe just to say, when you hear the word gift, whose face comes to mind? We're going to now hear a person I think is synonymous with gift, certainly for me, someone who's been responsible for bringing gift to life and leading the network with great passion and vision for its first decade. Please welcome and let's hear from Juan Pablo Guerrero, who's GIFT's former and founding network director. Juan Pablo, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Suki. I'm very moved to see you, all these faces that have for so many years worked along for this wonderful cause that we had in the GIFT network, and that, as many have said, continues as the main challenges of our professional lives. GIFT Network was formed to harmonize global standards on fiscal transparency. The IMF had his code, PEFA had its indicators, OECD was producing the governance framework, IBP, of course, had the open budget survey, and there were many issues that were not converging. So that was one of the main goals. And we put together, as mentioned in that beautiful video, the high-level principles of fiscal transparency, participation, and accountability. And thanks to the government of the Philippines, with which at the Department of Budget and Management, it was taken with Brazil to the United Nations, and it was acknowledged by the UN General Assembly. What a coincidence of life that I am now in Manila, in the Philippines, working for the World Bank, but in collaboration of the Department of Budget and Management on procurement transparency issues. Another important goal for GIFT was aiming at having impact. We knew that there was progress on budget transparency, but the speed was not enough, and we were constantly looking at backlashes. We need to work on sustainability, and for that, we knew and we know for sure now that the multi-stakeholder approach, that the coalition approach, with help of not only international financial institutions, but civil society organizations and other stakeholders to push, help, support ministries of finance was absolutely key. And from there, the peer learning network was created. And as mentioned, in many cases, we had for the first time in the same room the users of information, civil society organizations working along ministries of finance. Some funny experiences that I remember now was, for instance, in the case of South Africa, where the National Treasury wasn't aware that there were fiscal transparency related commitments in the OGP network, and we were the one breaking the news for them. Since then, they started working with Suki, civil society organizations, and many others, and they put together one of the most important transparency portals that we've known. The same happened with Colombia and many others. Gift was the opening of this dialogue and the source of very important commitments and achievements on this topic. Let me name a few names that are absolutely significant, fundamental for the existence of GIFT. Sanjeev Kagram, Randall Kemp, Mary Petrie, the three members of GIFT when I joined the network, and putting them together and giving them their guidance, of course, Warren Krafschick, Paulo De Renzo, Vivek Ramkumar, also very important names for the history of this network. Today, colleagues, I am working on anti-corruption at the World Bank. And believe me, fiscal transparency, accountability in the use of public resources are at the core of all of our initiatives. Beneficial ownership transparency, reducing corruption risks on tax administrations, in procurement systems. All of that is only possible because there is a basic setting of budget openness and fiscal transparency. We will never be done. But one happening, one condition is, for me, the biggest motivation, knowing that along the way, we will find each other, we will cross, our path will cross, and we will have more chances to work together, to go shoulder by shoulder, to have the same horizon. Thank you.
Gracias, Juan Pablo. It was perfectly on time. I was timing you. Thank you. That was really, really amazing. And thank you for your leadership, your persistence, and the absolute commitment and deep-heartedness that you have shown the network and the ways in which you've shown up for all of us. I certainly can say I've learned so much from you. So you'll see in front of us there already is our word cloud that everyone contributed to, that we're going to take just a quick moment to reflect on. So we asked, what one word comes to mind when you think of GIFT's beginnings? And as we've heard from Jim and colleagues and from everyone, including Juan Pablo, in there we see community, we see openness, we see participation, leadership without a doubt. The word community, as you can see, is possibly the biggest for all the reasons we I think collectively understand and appreciate. Good governance, transparency. We see juntos. I'm assuming I'm pronouncing that wrong. I'm going to assume, but maybe not. Alonso says I'm pronouncing it right. Thank you, Alonso. Thank you, everyone, for contributing to that word cloud. I think Marianne will hopefully, yes, share it on via our social media kit, but please do feel free to share this. Feel free to share photos as we have the conversation in all the ways that you can. I think it is really important for us to continue to do that. So thank you to everyone for contributing to the word cloud. We shall have more of those. So yeah, I think finding moments to take a deep breath. Certainly GIFT has been much more, as we've said, I think acknowledged than just a network and an organization. It's a circle of community and a circle of friends. So thank you to everyone that we've heard so far, and to, in particular, our founding voices. It's really been a powerful reminder of the vision and the courage that it's taken, or that it took, to bring something like GIFT to life. We're now going to take a moment as we go forward into our next segment to really reflect on the coordination team, or the work of the coordination team, the work that happened behind the scenes. In many organizations, the stuff that happens behind the scenes never gets spoken about, never gets appreciated. It's the dirtiest work, the hardest work, but quite often is work that goes unappreciated. So this is a chance. But just before we do that, we do want to also just reflect on another word cloud, which we'll do in the background and we'll reflect on in a bit. This time, we're asking, as in the background of reflections from our team and our work, what word best describes the working culture behind GIFT? What word, one word, best describes GIFT's working culture, the work culture behind GIFT? Just one word. You've got the Menti code in front of you there, 291. Oh, there's people are quick. I mean, I suppose it is the GIFT network. Okay, very, very quick. And then we'll come back and reflect on that. So you've got time to contribute to that. Please populate that as we do, and we'll come back to our word cloud. Great. So please feel free to work on that as we go along. Behind the scenes. So now we're going to honor these, I suppose in English, they're called dog bodies. The donkeys, the people that carry the work, the tireless individuals who build the engine of GIFT. It was a small but mighty team. They are and have been those who did the daily work of building relationships, of organizing events, of nurturing partnerships, and producing the resources that all of us have benefited from, that helped GIFT thrive and helped our community thrive. So now we're going to hear from that unique team with a unique culture and a unique background. Our first speaker is GIFT's former coordinator for knowledge, technical assistance, and collaboration, Aura Martinez. Aura is going to be on video, but she is also joining us in person. She has very kindly taken the time to join us from a very special location, which is her little newborn's room. So Aura recently welcomed a precious bundle of joy. So we're going to play her video, but Aura is with us in person. Over to Aura's video, please.
Hi, I'm Aura Martinez. I had the pleasure to collaborate with GIFT for 4 years as coordinator for knowledge, technical assistance, and collaboration, and being a part of the GIFT family well before that as part of the Ministry of Finance in Mexico. Now, it is a bittersweet moment to say goodbye to this amazing family, because that's what GIFT was, is, and will continue to be in our hearts and memories. A community, a family of man and woman that championed for more than 10 years the cause for transparency, accountability, and better budgets that are more inclusive and beneficial for everyone around the world. Thank you very much, GIFT. Thank you very much, coordination team, and thank you, family, for all these years of continued love, appreciation, and budgets. Thanks a lot, and see you soon, as we will not be relinquishing in our mission to have better budgets for everyone around the world and to have more transparent and accountable public financial management in every single one of our countries. Thank you, and see you soon.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Aura, and thanks for your brevity. Yeah, and I think you're seeing in the chat, everyone saying congratulations to the latest member of the Fiscal Transparency Global Network. I think your voice was certainly very key in promoting meaningful collaboration, across the stewards and partners of the network. So thank you so much for contributing to GIFT's body of work. Next, we're going to hear from someone that I call El Presidente. We're going to hear from Tariq Gracida, who served the GIFT team with a lot of creativity, someone whose commitment and energy was clear all the time. He is GIFT's former technology and communications coordinator. Tariq, over to you.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Suki. I won't take much of your time. I'm really glad to see so many familiar faces. Thank you so much for the kind invitation. I'm truly honored to be here participating as former GIFT coordinator team member. Being part of GIFT was a deeply meaningful chapter for me, both personally, as you all know, but also professionally. It was not only an opportunity to contribute to the global movement for fiscal transparency, but also it was a transformative journey. One of the most enriching parts was getting to see how brilliant teams from all over the world create and innovate. You witness so many ways of solving problems, and GIFT always shares those lessons with the community. And on a more personal level, GIFT gave me the chance to build lasting professional and personal bonds with people who dedicate their everyday work to improve the realities of their countries. And that is incredibly inspiring. And that kind of inspiration is contagious. It stays with you. So thank you, GIF, for letting me be part of it and for inspiring me all along the way.
Wonderful. Thank you, Tariq, and thank you for your brief comments. It helps us save time, helping me. And now, I think you'll have seen how strong the women on the GIFT team are, and I think that's been a really inspiring element of GIFT's team and driving energy. We now are going to hear from Lorena Rivera del Paso, who is GIFT's former technical knowledge and cooperation manager. And she's been instrumental in developing and implementing several of GIFT's programs and groundbreaking research with an amazing energy and an amazing elegance. Lorena, over to you.
Thank you very much, Suki. Thank you, everyone. So this is a very truly emotional moment for me. I have had the privilege of being with GIFT since its inception and from many different angles, so not just as part of a GIFT. And it is rare to witness an initiative grow and with such depth. GIFT has done exactly that. I have no doubt about the transformative role of GIFT. Many say it is incredibly difficult to build a real community of practice. And I remember that when Pablo and I would discuss this back in 2013-ish, 14-ish, how could this become a true community of practice? And that is precisely what GIFT became. A space where government, civil society, innovators, we all came together, and not just to talk about transparency, but to make it happen. Open data has truly become a global reality, thanks in large part to this network. The transparency portals we now take for granted, the data rallies that mobilize action, and the growing use of fiscal data to hold governments accountable, they found a catalyst in GIFT. This community gave them purpose and a lot of reach. And beyond the policies, platforms, tools, this has been a community of people. Colleagues became collaborators, and collaborators became friends. And I am deeply grateful to have had the chance to coincide with all of you on this journey. I hope we don't lose this community, and I hope to see you all again.
Oh. Thank you, Lorena. I personally have no doubt that we can keep our community intact, and thank you for those amazing words. We're going to now hear from Marianne Fabian from Jan, who has served as GIFT's communications and outreach coordinator for the last 4 years. It feels like it's been longer, Marianne. Beyond her core role, she's also played a vital role in organizing today's legacy event. I think we should call it a legacy event. And has helped bring this final celebration to life. Jan, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Zuki. Hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. As all usual network activities are, everybody's in different time zones all across the world. But hi, everyone. It's hard for me to believe that we're here right now together celebrating the final chapter of GIFT. I joined GIFT in December 2020, not knowing that the next few years would become one of the most meaningful chapters of my professional and personal life. Being part of this network gave me so much. Opportunities to grow, to learn, to work alongside brilliant and passionate people from the coordination team, from governments, from civil society, from development partners. And more than anything, that's what I really cherish the most. It's the friendships that I've made and the wisdom I've gained from this community, whether it was through intense reform work with each of you, to late night or early morning coordination team calls, or just really the quiet moments of encouragement between us colleagues. This space has taught me what it means to lead with purpose, to lead with empathy and with conviction. And over the past few weeks, as I led the coordination for this legacy event, I've been receiving the most heartfelt messages, and honestly, I've been in and out of my emotions because of it. I've been the one coordinating with the people who are speaking today, and behind the scenes, they were sending tons of beautiful messages to the community. And it's reminded me that like what everyone has already said, GIFT was never just about tools, about the frameworks, and about the milestones we achieved. It was and is and will always be about people, like what Aura has said. It's about our community, and it's about our shared values. And one of those values that has deeply shaped me is the belief and resolve that public budgets should be open, not just for transparency's sake, but so that people everywhere have the power to understand and to question and shape decisions that affect their lives. And advocating for budget openness alongside all of you across so many corners of the world has been just both humbling and empowering for me. And yes, this is a closing, but I truly believe that for many of us as well, it's also going to be a new beginning. And the message that we want everyone to take from today is that really we carry gift spirit into our next chapters in the work that will continue, the values that we uphold, and the relationships will always keep close. Thank you for being such an important part of my journey. And thank you for letting me be part of yours.
Thank you so much, Jan. And thank you for your dedication and for staying to help, our network close this final chapter. I think with such conviction, with care and heart. I absolutely will write down or have written down this notion of leading with empathy and conviction. I think that you have done that very, very well in your time. Now, the last speaker in this segment of our session is Raquel Ferreira, who I've known for a long time and who I have great respect for. She led the coordination team in the last years as the GIFTS, in the last 2 years as GIFTS network manager. Raquel's played a key role in guiding the network through its final phase with remarkable dedication and certainly, I think, again, strength as we've seen across the network. Raquel, over to you.
Thank you, Zuki, for the kind words. It's an absolute honor to join this legacy event today and to share a few personal reflections on what GIFT has meant to me. Like many on the coordination team, I came from the other side, from a Ministry of Finance background. We knew what it was like to be on the other side. Trying to drive change, often with limited resources and competing pressures. That perspective helped us to see how valuable the GIFT network was or is. It offers far more than just technical tools. It's a trusted community that answered real needs in very practical ways. Trust is what made this work unique and meaningful. People shared openly with us because they knew their insights would be treated with care and respect. That trust allowed us to listen deeply, to learn honestly, and connect reformers who could help one another. Peer learning was or is really at the beating heart of GIFT. Having an international support structure that can truly understand your context because people have lived it is really priceless. And for those of us on the coordination team, we never forgot how much we had gained from the network as a former practitioner. We paid it forward by trying to connect people, amplifying voices, and offering support wherever we could. We were a small team of like-minded people who took immense pride in our work. Somehow we managed to do the impossible at times, collaborating across 3 continents and countless time zones. Our calls often spanned breakfast, lunch, and dinner. across the different time zones. And our documents sometimes circle the globe in 24-hour cycles. One person finished a section, tagging the next one as they woke up. It was a strange kind of magic, but it worked. While remote work got us far, the moments we spent together in person during missions or events were really unforgettable. After months of Zoom calls, seeing each other in the flesh felt amazing. I also loved discovering so many new cultures through my teammates, through the people we worked with. By the time I visited your countries, I already felt like I was at home. We pushed each other to grow and celebrated everyone, big or small. Hearing that a mission went well, or knowing that we've helped someone feel less alone, made every late night, early morning worthwhile. Being part of GIFT has been one of the most rewarding chapters of my life. There were highs, there were lows, but through it all, there was always someone ready with a kind word, a shared laugh, or a quiet reminder that we weren't alone. I want to thank every member of the coordination team over the years. The many consultants who, although weren't part of the coordination team, worked alongside us with just as much heart. And every member of the wider GIFT community. We started off as colleagues, became friends, and now we are friends for life. It's an incredible gift to know that we have homes in so many corners of the globe and someone to talk to at any hour of the day or night. You will be forever cherished in my heart. The GIFT community isn't ending. It lives on in each one of us. Thank you for being part of it.
Thank you so much, Raquel, and thank you for those heartfelt remarks. And I think a wonderful reminder of the multicultural nature of our network, which I think in many respects is quite unique. I mean, the first time I came across Mate was in a GIFT meeting. So yeah, thank you so much. And thank you in particular for handling this last chapter of our network with amazing grace and the spirit of conviction as you have, and with a real hopefulness. So really, at this point, I want to say just a really significant and massive salute and show gratitude to both past and current members of the GIFT coordination team for your heartfelt work and your stories. You've touched us all, and I think in ways that you likely maybe don't appreciate. And hopefully in due course, as you do more reflection, you will realize just how much your work has meant to all of us within the network. Even while we are on Zoom, I do think that it might, let's see if it works. If we were in a room together, we would snap, we would see each other. But if we could just go, if you can, go off mic, and we're going to just do an actual, literal round of applause for everyone as we end this section around the GIFT coordination team. I'm off mic, I'm going to clap if you can for just 2 seconds. Let's see if it works. If we hear each other clapping, if you go into audio, seeing Claire's beautiful big smile. Let's see if we can do that.
Yay!
Okay.
Bravo.
Absolutely bravo. Thank you so much, everyone. Really, really amazing. All right. So in that, we also, Marianne was just flighting the output or the outcomes of our last Menti meter, which the question was really about describing GIFT's work culture. And as we've heard from the coordination team, this is a good moment to have a look at that. 2 big words come out at me: collaborative and passion. And I think without a doubt, the passion with which every single member of the GIFT coordination team over the years has shown is undoubtable. Professionalism, collaboration, inclusion, colaboración. I'm going to assume that's Spanish. But certainly I'm assuming that, yeah. But all of that really, I think, ties into the same thing for all of us in terms of the ways that we've appreciated the collaboration, the energy, the professionalism that the GIFT network and the GIFT coordination team over the years has shown to us. And I see there as well, there's friendship and supportive. And I think without the aspect of, friendship, There's a lot that we would not have been able to achieve together. I've heard a lot of that in terms of people having been able to connect as friends to break bread together, which very often we have done in gift meetings, which I think has been significant in creating those relationships. Thank you so much, Jan. Thank you for flighting that, and thank you for everyone for contributing to that word cloud. We're going to try and move along. If you are posting on social media, please do feel free again to share what you can and your reflections in that way about the work and the gift legacy, hashtag gift legacy as which is where we are. Right. Jana, should we do the third word cloud before we move on? Yeah, okay. We're on the same page. Great. We're going to move on. We're going to avoid doing the third word cloud, and we're going to move on to our next session. Which is, entitled "The Spirit Lives On," Open Reflections. We've really created this space for you, all of you, gifts, broader community, to share your thoughts, your messages, your memories. I think what I've personally appreciated from the Gift Network has been that space to share from the heart as often as we can, even while the work has been hard, even while the work has been really demanding. So if you'd like to speak, we're going to create the space for you to raise your hand, and we'll create some space to speak. We'll keep it as brief as possible, 2 minutes. So really, really, please think about keeping it brief. I know it's hard for such an amazing network to keep it brief, but before we open the floor, we are going to hear from some of our gift lead stewards and some of our general stewards who had already indicated that they'd like to speak. So we're going to go in this order. We're going to hear from our lead stewards who have some inputs from our general stewards, and then we're going to open the floor. So if I could really, really ask if everyone could keep it as brief as they can so we can hear from as many as possible. And Patricia, if we'd like to start with you again, just from the perspective of IBP and gift as a lead steward, if you'd like to have another input, should we start with you if you'd like to?
Can you hear me? Oh,
you can, yeah.
Okay, can you hear me now? Yeah?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. Okay, your Spanish is perfect. I will let all of you do the work for me because everything has been said. And I know many of you who have your cameras off. If you don't mind, Jan, can we go back to the full picture with everyone there? Because as I said, I'm going to ask everybody to ask this question for me. And so I know some of you can have your cameras on because you did it when we took pictures. And so if we could do a quick exercise for me, because again, I don't know what else to say. So I'm going to ask everyone to turn off your cameras and do 3 passes with me. And it's going to take less than a minute. So if you could turn off your cameras, please, everyone turn off your cameras. And I will ask everybody who has known a gift for more than 10 years to keep your cameras on or turn your cameras on. If you know gift for more than 10 years, please keep your cameras on. This is everyone who's been with gift for more than 10 years and you're still here. So this is amazing. More than 10 years. Thank you so much. Everybody has known gift for more than 5 years. Can you turn your cameras on now? More than 5 years? Amazing. Thank you. Wow, now we have 2 screens. Now, if you have known gift for less than 2 years, everybody else turn your cameras off. Only those who have known gift for the last 2 years. If you can keep your cameras on. So this is to welcome the new members of the community. Thank you so much. I know this sounds like a game. I'm going to include myself in the 2-year one. But this is just to show the dynamism of this community and how it's amazing that you're still coming after more than 10 years. The last thing that I want to do, just to express what I feel about gift, is to ask everyone who can to write in the text box, the chat, what country you're coming from. If you could just take the time to text in the chat what country you're coming from. This is also how I feel about gift, this diversity, this thing that's coming in very quickly. I'm not going to even read it. This is exactly what Raquel was talking about. And the last thing that I will ask you to do the job for me is that it looks like only Juan Pablo and I are putting all hearts and emojis on our screens. So I'll ask everyone who feels comfortable to please choose an emoji and put it on the screen, how you feel about today, and what do you like to say to everyone. And that's going to be it from me. Thank you, everyone.
Great. Thank you, Anna Patricia, keeping us on our toes, keeping us on our toes. Wonderful. Next, we're going to hear, I haven't seen Sailendra, but I think he is on the call. Yes, there you are. Sorry. We're going to hear from Sailendra Patignac, who's from the IMF. Over to you for your inputs.
Thank you, and good morning and good afternoon or good evening to everyone. So we have come a full circle. I would say that I was on the very first day when GIFT was launched with a lot of optimism. We were coming out of the 2008 financial crisis, and now we are here in the legacy event. So I would highlight two things which I've been involved since the beginning, but I'll highlight two things. GIFT provided a great platform and sounding board for us at the IMF because we were doing at the same time revamping the fiscal transparency code, and we were trying to align our practices, our standards with the IBP and also OECD and the World Bank, which was also trying to revise the PIPA framework. And GIFT provided a very nice platform to get everybody's inputs and also to work on how to harmonize our different standards. And Manal mentioned earlier today about including the principle on public participation, which was actually one of the inputs of GIFT to our standards. The other aspect I will highlight is about peer learning. We have used GIFT Network quite a number of times when we did the regional workshops or seminars on fiscal transparency, and GIFT colleagues participated in many of them. But also I had a great opportunity to go into one of those General Stewards events in Bogota, where I did see how the community spirit, which many of you have highlighted, was in action, that how one of the General Stewards was showing us how they are doing public participation, fiscal transparency at the ground level, and how other members of the GIFT are so keen to learn from that. So I've seen both aspects, the community spirit and how it was bringing a lot of value added to the development of norms and standards in fiscal transparency. I believe it is very nice to see all of you, the community here, and I believe we will cross our paths even though GIFT will be remain as a legacy, but I'm happy that IBP will carry forward some of the legacy aspects of GIFT and hope to see some of you in the future going forward. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Sailendra, and it's lovely to see you again. We are now going to hear from a World Bank representative, Jens Kroman Christensen, who I did see.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Excellent. So sometimes people associate public financial management with numbers and Excel sheets and IFMIS systems and cold minds, but anyone who has those views haven't participated in a GIFT event and haven't been part of this legacy event. I think so much love and emotion and deep context are really a touching way to end the week, but also touching way to end what has been a very important and sustainable and impactful engagement. Obviously, in the bank, we're proud members, supporters, and beneficiaries of GIFT. GIFT has been instrumental in promoting global norms and standards and fiscal transparency, and that helps us in our efforts to integrate fiscal transparency into public financial management reforms in our countries. GIFT has facilitated peer learning and provided technical assistance, which has made life easier for our beneficiaries, which were also GIFT's beneficiaries. And GIFT has been instrumental in promoting new technologies and open data to engage the public in fiscal policies, which also aligned 100% with what we've been working on and are working and striving for in the World Bank. And the partnership aspects with GIFT has enhanced the ability of all of us to address global challenges and bringing us all together. So GIFT has played a very important role in promoting open and accountable fiscal policies worldwide and contributing to better governance and development outcomes. And the impact will be lasting. So GIFT may not continue as we know it, but its impact will remain, as will the capacity it has built, the knowledge it has generated, and the stakeholders it has brought together. And I may say after this event, also proof of the network and the personal connections GIFT has contributed to establishing. So, as the Chinese proverb goes, one generation plants the trees, another gets the shade. And many of us, or I know you, who planted the trees will benefit from the shade in the years to come. Thank you very much, and thank you for this most beautiful event. Thank you.
Thank you so much, James. That's, yeah, really great. We've now, of our GIFT lead stewards, we've got from the Office of the Controller General of Brazil, Flavia. Over to you, Flavia.
Hi, dear all. It's a great honor to join you today, not only as a representative from Brazilian government, but also on behalf of the Brazilian people who have directly benefited from the evolution of fiscal transparency in our country over the past years. I'd like to express our heartfelt thanks to all the institutions, leaders, and partners who made GIFT what it is, a global community driven by values, by trust, and by collaboration. In Brazil, we have come a long way from the early advances with the fiscal responsibility law to the creation of our transparency portal, a big pride for us in Brazil. Initiatives for participatory budgeting and open data, fiscal openness has become a cornerstone of democratic governance here. I'd like to acknowledge the colleagues from CGU who came before me in this network. They were the true champions of fiscal openness and helped shape Brazil's voice in the global movement for transparency and participation. This evolution has been fueled by the principles GIFT stood for all this time: transparency, participation, and accountability. And two lessons from this journey will stay with us. Transparency is powerful, but only when paired with participation and the ability to demand change. And second, that sustainable state transformations come from collective ownership, when governments, civil society, and citizens act together. And as we mark this closing ceremony of GIFT, we all know this is not an end, that the values and connections it created will carry on. It must enduring legacies, the global community it helped to forge, that we heard today celebrating this. And here in Brazil, we are committed to keeping this legacy alive. Thank you so much, GIFT. Obrigada.
Obrigada, Flavia. Thank you so much for that. Just to say before we open the floor, before we hand over to Undersecretary Rolando Toledo from the Philippines Department of Budget and Management, noting hands from the floor, we are going to take those soon. Colleagues, it is very clear that we are going to run out of time. So what I'd like to say is that for anyone who does need to leave but would like to leave us with their message, please make sure you leave your message in the chat before you leave. It's clear we're going to run out of time, but I'm keen for us to continue and see how many of our colleagues we can hear from their inputs. Thank you so much for that. From Flavia, we're going to move over to Undersecretary Rolando from the Philippines Department of Budget and Management.
Yeah, thank you, Suki. Of course. Yes, to our friends, colleagues, and champions, of course, of fiscal transparency who are present today, good evening from the Philippines. Today, it is some sort of a bittersweet day for me, for the GIFT community, for reformers, allies, of course, and practitioners and advocates across continents as we approach the graceful end of its existence as an organization. However, now more than ever, we must take the time to appreciate, of course, remember, and celebrate GIFT's legacy to enhance fiscal transparency around the world. As far as the Philippines is concerned, Philippines is one of the GIFT lead steward when it was established in 2011. With, of course, my former boss, Secretary Butchabad, being the lead steward from the Philippines. That year, as she also mentioned, was a transitional period for our country, given that we had we just had to welcome a new administration, and we were faced with increasing urgency to create and implement bold programs and projects in the country's fiscal transparency policies and practices. Now, guided by the key global fiscal transparency instruments such as the Open Budget Survey, the DBM goals was to make more fiscal information available and accessible to the public, as mentioned by Secretary Butch. I'm glad to share that we are consistently meeting our goal, of course, of improving fiscal transparency over time. Okay, just to let you know, especially my former boss, that the Open Budget Survey in 2023, the Philippines ranked 15 out of the 125 nations with an OBI of 75. So really, this puts our country first in Asia for the budget transparency. So in the pre-learning exercises, it is with gratitude that GIFT has been a constant collaborator with the Philippines in numerous occasions. The most recent in ensuring inclusive and meaningful public participation in budget process last OGP Asia and the Pacific Regional Meeting, which was held in Manila last February 2025. Shout out to Yan. Thank you very much for the support. Okay. Our shared experience with GIFT in maximizing platform of advocacy, dialogue, peer learning, research, and technical collaboration to foster environment which values fiscal transparency has contributed a lot to the DBM success. So I'm sure this is also the case with everyone here. So GIFT has been an invaluable support system, an active listener, and a powerful advocate for countries and organizations that uphold fiscal transparency. So, friends, I call you now friends because of that we have developed. I believe the title of this segment has two interpretations by saying the spirit lives on. I understand that it refers to keeping something's life, energy, or strength going, or could be maintaining a feeling of camaraderie and belongingness among members of a community. So, as derived from the term team spirit. So, indeed, GIFT has been will always be a wonderful presence that will guide us in implementing our fiscal transparency efforts with our respective countries. With that, let us keep our team spirit alive, GIFT community. I'll miss the late night calls with you. Thank you so much and congratulations for our success. The world is small, so let's keep in touch and see you in our other undertakings, especially Juan Pablo, you're here in Manila, so let's have time to see you. Thank you very much and good evening again.
Thank you so much, Undersecretary, and good evening to you too. Right. With that, we're going to move on to hearing from some of our general stewards and colleagues, as I've said, friends and colleagues. If you do need to leave, we understand the timing and the time constraints. So please do make sure that you leave us with your message in your chat and anything else you'd like us to know. We've got a video or an input from the state of Guanajuato in Mexico. Yan, should we start with that?
Let me just go put it up after maybe the next message. We can go after a new
Great.
message.
Let's do that. And great. So we have another General Steward who's indicated they'd like to share their inputs from the Directorate General of Budget in Benin. Okay, looks like we'll be saving a bit of time. Should we move to the other part of the world? Still keeping it south. Sefi in Guatemala. I definitely saw Ricardo. Hopefully he's not had to leave. I did see him. Ricardo, over to you if you're still on the... Yay! Fantastic.
Yeah, I'm
Nice
still here, but I have to leave very soon, so I'm going to be brief. So congratulations, GIFT, for all this learning, all these experiences, especially in these times that the world seems to go crazy and that so much billions of dollars going to kill instead of build, or instead of supporting the sustainability and a continuation of an initiative like GIFT. That is the sad part. that global conditions are going in the wrong direction, but there is some happy emotions because the foundations have been laid. Let me share with you that currently the Vice Minister of Public Finance in Guatemala, in charge of fiscal transparency, is a member of the GIFT community. Perhaps you know him, Carlos Melgar, and he was in many meetings a member of ISEFI, participated in GIFT, and he is one of the GIFT community enforcing, putting in practice the principles. And let me share with you that just 2 days ago, I was in the countryside of Guatemala, in the highlands, in a small town of the region of Totonicapán, in a workshop preparing locals, especially women of the Mayan people, preparing how to exercise social audit of public procurement operations and budget executions. And one of the highlights of our workshop was the GIFT principles. So they are keeping being taught, they are being enforced by that far away countryside community in the Guatemalan highlands. So the GIFT legacy has been laid out, and it is open to us to put in practice a keep GIFT living thing. Thank you very much. Congratulations, GIFT.
Thank you, Ricardo, and especially for the reflections around the tough geopolitical context we find ourselves in. We're going to move on now and see if we can hear from our OECD representative or speaker, Andrew Plazy. I see that. Should we pause the video for now, Jan, and see if Andrew's still able to share his reflections? Great. Hi, Andrew. Over to you.
Hi, look, thanks very much. And this has been a wonderful event. It's been wonderful to actually listen to everyone here. And it really just sparks for me the emotion of why I've been committed to GIFT from the outset in terms of the wonderful people here to work with. And really hearing Juan Pablo's comments, Suki, about, for me, it embodies the value-based approach that has been part of GIFT throughout his tenure and throughout everyone else's, and has really been infectious into the organization and its work. And it's been wonderful to hear that. I very much, and so do my colleagues here, subscribe to the views that the work is not yet done. And as we see how much technology is driving our agendas as we and how it impacts on budget and fiscal transparency, know that we've got so much more to do here. But the thing that I take away from this, apart from the unifying platform that GIFT is just a very close community that we all work in. And I really loved the visual illustration of that before with turning our cameras off. But there are so many people here that I'd like to thank as well that time doesn't allow. But there's so many here like Nida and Rolando and Celindra and others that are online, that we'll keep in contact as this work is really relevant to all countries. And being part of this, I'm constantly reminded that there's no country excluded from the objectives of GIFT and its work program. With that, look, thank you very much, and look forward to listening to the other contributors today.
Wonderful. Thanks for that, Andrew. Yeah, very great input. We now move on to the Europe Foundation. I did see Victor on the call. Victor, I don't know if you're still with us.
Yeah, I'm here.
Wonderful. Over to you.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure to be here and to celebrate this great event. Our journey as a Europe Foundation with GIFT started in 2019. It was started with a surprise to realize that Lorena was in Tbilisi. So we met and started with an interesting initiative, which resulted in a great conference in December of the same year. So we were honored to host in person members of the network. Suki was also here. It was great to meet you. And yes, indeed, since then, we had a lot of initiatives, a lot of capacity building events. We cooperate quite successfully and focus on local government and regions, because it was very interesting experience. Among our beneficiaries were civil society organizations and also local government organizations. And I'm really happy that this journey is still going on. So next week, we are happy to organize jointly training and study visit to Portugal, Cascais. So where we have chance to meet a great team from the Cascais City Hall. So thank you guys for everything. So it was a great journey with nice people, and I'm really happy to meet you. And personally, I have a lot of friends from former and current GIFT members, and I think that each sunset is followed by sunrise. So the life is going on. So thank you so much. See you soon.
Oh, thank you, Victor. I have forgotten how to say thank you in Georgian, but I would have said it. I like that, each sunset being followed by a sunrise. I think that's really important for each of us to remember. Thank you so much. The last, I think, input from our list of general stewards at this point is from the Liberian Ministry of Finance, Carolyn Zudua Myers. Carolyn, I'm not sure if we still have her on. We don't. Okay. I'm noting, as I said, colleagues needing to leave and must say, apologize for our time running over, but we hope that as many of us can still stay on. Our last few speakers, before we open up the floor, we will open up the floor from, generally speaking, our gift partners and friends. We're going to start. I know that Irina, Nadia, you mentioned that Irina wasn't able to attend, but that you had an input on behalf of both yourselves from the World Bank PIMPA contingent. So please, over to you. Your hand has been up for a long time. You must be tired. You can put your hand down now. Over to you.
Thank you very much. Yes, dear colleagues, Irina unfortunately was called to another important meeting, but she's sending her best to everybody. Well, colleagues, I will try not to speak long. It's quite an emotional day, I think, for all of us, especially GIFT colleagues. Let me just very briefly say a few words about what has the cooperation with GIFT meant to PEMPAL and what the effects were. So for those of you who may not be aware, PEMPAL is a network through which PFM officials from around 20 member countries in the Europe and Central Asia connect, collaborate, and engage in mutual learning and problem solving to drive PFM reforms. And we have actually cooperated with GIFT since 2014, when Juan Pablo presented the high-level principles on fiscal transparency, participation, and accountability in our large network meeting. And from then on, I think we pretty much work together continuously. And I have to say, in great synergy, which maximize the effects of both our networks. We strongly believe so. This cooperation included mutual content contribution in the knowledge materials of both networks, cross-participation in events, and speaker exchanges. And I would just like to stress, kind of going along what we have just heard from the Georgian colleagues, our members especially fondly recall our 2018 joint GIFT and PEMPAL learning visit to Cascais in Portugal on public participation. And let me tell you, we recently had collected the evidence on the impact of PEMPAL in our member countries. And we have to say that this particular gathering motivated many PEMPAL members countries to initiate public participation initiatives. And the inspiration from that gathering, believe it or not, is really still felt in our country's ongoing public participation efforts. More recently, we explored ways jointly to tailor budget openness measures for different external stakeholders, and also the ways to utilize the new digital tools to propel citizens' engagement with Raquel, Marianne, and Aura. Just to finish very briefly, what we feel, how we feel about GIFT echoes really a lot of previous notes that we've heard from Andrew and the rest of the colleagues. But GIFT really brought global perspectives to regional challenges and helped our member countries and us, frankly, to think bigger about the role of budget openness. So on behalf of all PenPal member countries and our World Bank PenPal team, I thank GIFT for the generosity in sharing the knowledge and, very importantly, for the shared passion and commitment to improving PFM. It's a small global community when you think about it of PFM professionals with such shared passion, I believe so. So it really has been an honor to cooperate with you. It is indeed the fact that the work is not done, and in some cases maybe even more work than we thought there would be 10 years ago. It's a very challenging time for everybody, but I certainly also hope that we will somehow continue our work in one way or another. GIFT Legacy will continue. We in PenPal will surely continue to refer to GIFT's valuable work. And with that, I will close. Again, thank you very much for all the work together and for giving us the floor to share a snippet of our very emotional feedback at this point. Thank you, everybody.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Naida, and thank you for your input. From the Global Data Barometer, I know that Silvana is on the call still. Over to you, Silvana.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's really an honor to be here. I'm going to be very brief, but I want to celebrate the collaboration between the Global Data Barometer and GIFT. And thanks to GIFT's commitment and expertise, we've been able to develop indicators that not only measures data availability and governance, but also highlight the actual use of fiscal data for the public good. I want to say particular thanks to Juan Pablo for agreeing to collaborate when we decided to include a fiscal transparency module in the first edition of the Global Data Barometer, and then to Raquel for continuing that collaboration. And a heartfelt thanks to the entire GIFT team for their continued contributions over the years, in particular also to Aura that was collecting data as well with a lot of dedication. This collaboration was never just about producing a model. It was about shaping a global conversation. GIFT brought not only deep expertise, but also generosity and open spirit of co-creation. That spirit lives in the GDP results, in the insights now used by researchers and civil society, and in the evidence that continues to support reformers around the world. I want to say to everyone at GIFT, thank you for your vision, your generosity, and your trust. And we are proud that this work will remain a lasting contribution to the field. Once again, thank you so much. And I'm really happy to be here with all of you.
Gracias, Silvana. And last on the list before we open up the floor is my colleague from the Open Government Partnership, Alonso.
Hi, everyone. Again, I'll try to be very brief. I have to tell you, I had to cash in a couple of favors to be able to speak on behalf of OGP at this event because several of us wanted to talk. First and foremost, thank you. Thank you for all the hard work. It's the two things that I can keep coming back to. All the hard work and all the collaboration. We're trying to map out all the ways that we worked in, and we couldn't complete the list. We had from the working groups that were sunset in 2017, where GIFT was leading on the fiscal openness one, to designing commitments, like the very technical part of, for example, I remember Paraguay back in 2014, to working on events, on sessions, side events, political advocacy networks, all of the gambit of the work that we do on the Open Government Partnership. GIFT has supported all through and through. I didn't even remember the work that last year was GIFT doing in Scotland. So just to be very brief, again, thank you very, very much for all the hard work to the team, and we will continue pushing for an open fiscal transparency, and you will be sorely missed. Thank you.
Gracias, Alonso. So we have now the chance to open up the floor. Absolutely noting there's one hand that's also been up for a long time, Dr. Anne, but I want to say that there are two humans that are going to close our meeting off. We're going to later have Cynthia Romero and Carolina Rentero who will close us off. But before that, let's hear from you. Let's hear from the floor. And again, if we could ask everyone to be as brief as you can. We're definitely going to start with Dr. Anne. Over to you,
Hello,
Dr. Anne.
everybody. I don't know. I have a mixed feeling because I'm speaking in my personal capacity. I retired from government about 2.5 years ago, and I hope there's somebody from Nigerian government here because GIFT has been more than a family for me when I was still in government. They held our hand the way you held a baby's hand through peer learning, building capacity, and OGP. And if somebody wants to ask you what was your highlight moment having come back from US to Nigeria, in working for Nigerian government was the period I was handling GIFT. It was me as a person, I learned a lot. But besides me, they gave a great support to Nigeria. And that's why I said, I hope somebody from Nigerian government is here. But when I saw that picture we took in South Africa, that it was on the display, I said, it doesn't matter where I am, I must call in. Unfortunately, I didn't know it was going to be the closing ceremony. But thank God it's closing after I left government because I would have been crying like a baby. But I need to thank especially Pablo, Raquel, Lorena, Albertina, Marian, Tariq, of course, Zuki too. We haven't seen since South African time. And I don't know how to put it because I don't know where to start thanking GIFT. Is it the support they gave us through going to Brazil, Portugal, South Africa, Georgia, or other places we went and still they were there to support us like Canada, Germany? It's a lot. Let me cut it short so others can talk. I'll miss you all. I'm happy for the period, which I think was less than 10 years, but more than 5 years that we had with GIFT. I hope my predecessors after I left government continued, but
yeah,
what can I say? I miss everybody.
Thank you so much, Dr. Anne, and thank you in particular for sharing in your capacity post-retirement and yeah, very special inputs. I did, however, forget that we had an input from the government or from Guanajuato, which the state, which let's have that now, Jan, and hopefully it is within the time limits. Okay, we'll do that, and then we'll go back to the floor. Thanks, Jan.
Hola a todas y todos. Soy Erika Ortega Campos. Quiero agradecer profundamente a la comunidad de GIFT por estos años de inspiración, aprendizaje y colaboración. Quiero agradecer de manera muy especial a Juan Pablo Guerrero y Raquel Ferreira por su liderazgo, por su acompañamiento cercano y estratégico hacia Guanajuato en estos años. En 2020, gracias al acompañamiento de GIFT, lanzamos nuestro portal de presupuesto abierto. Más que una herramienta digital, fue un compromiso vivo con nuestra ciudadanía. Y ese compromiso fue fortalecido por el impulso y el guía de la Red Global, proyecto que ha sido reconocido a nivel nacional e internacional. Pero el acompañamiento no quedó ahí. Gracias a esta red también nació el Rally Universitario, una iniciativa que acerca a las juventudes al análisis y uso de la información pública de manera creativa y participativa, y que en 2025 ya celebramos la 4ª edición. En 2022, Guanajuato dio un paso más, convirtiéndose en el primer gobierno subnacional de México en formar parte del Consejo de GIFT. Este reconocimiento no solo nos honra, sino que refuerza nuestro compromiso con la apertura y el trabajo colaborativo. Hoy, al cerrar esta etapa, reconocemos el legado de GIF que permanecerá en cada espacio de participación y en cada gobierno que se atreve a innovar con transparencia. Desde la Secretaría de Finanzas de Guanajuato, reafirmamos nuestro compromiso con un gobierno de la gente eficiente y honesto, que rinde cuentas, que escucha y que involucra a la ciudadanía en decisiones públicas. Gracias por acompañarnos, por creer en la co-creación y por fortalecer una red basada en valores. Con cariño y gratitud desde Guanajuato, gracias comunidad GIF.
Gracias, Erika, and also seeing that you are in the room with us. So thank you for joining in person as well as sharing the video. That's great. We're going to go back to the floor. I see Gustavo has a heart. I'm not sure if Gustavo wants to speak, but let's, any hands, feel free to put your hands up if you'd like to say something, colleagues. Please feel free to. The floor is now open before we close. Okay. Yay, look at peer pressure. Gustavo, over
Okay.
to you.
Thank you. Thank you. You named me, so you encouraged me to talk. I haven't prepared a speech, but I really want to thank you all. You are amazing colleagues, and thanks, GIF, for giving me the chance of knowing you. I want to name some of you. I'm sure I'm going to forget the others, sorry. But thanks to Juan Pablo, thanks to Lorena, Aura, Tariq, Rachel, Marianne, and Suki, and colleagues like Paula, Erica, Leonardo, and Andres, and other ones. Thank you all. You are amazing, and I hope that we are going to continue building fiscal transparency and friendships. Thank you.
Gracias, Gustavo. That's a wonderful message. Thank you very much for that. Right. I think we really have come to the end of our meeting, and thank you so much for everyone for staying, and we apologize for the longer time than we'd anticipated. What we're going to end with now is a very quick input from our colleague, Cynthia Romero, who's the Senior Director of Communications at IBP, who's just going to give us a quick outline of what we can expect going forward. And then directly after Cynthia, we're going to have Carolina close us off. But Cynthia, I must actually double check if Cynthia is still on the call with us. Jan? Yes, wonderful. Over to you, Cynthia, please.
Thank you, Suki, and thank you, Jan, and thank you everyone who's joined. It's been really, really filling my heart to hear all of your reflections, and it's obviously clear that you guys are going to continue this network. The other piece that's also clear for us at IBP is that we're going to continue to hear from other good folks in government who are committed to reform, who want to do better, who want to open their books, and they need to know, what does good look like? What exactly do I need to do in my day-to-day to make things better and more transparent? And so the good news is we sort of have three important things that we want to mention to you guys about practical ways the legacy will live on. And that's that the website will live on for a little bit longer. We're going to keep the GIFT website alive for 6 to 9 months, and we will continue to send updates about that so that we don't catch you off guard if you are looking for the resources that you're used to turning to on the website. We are going to do a thoughtful mapping of all of those resources that show the good folks in government, what good looks like. We're going to map those out. We're going to come up with a plan of where those can reside on the IBP website. And we will eventually redirect people turning to that URL to the IBP URL instead, where they can access those sources, those resources. The fiscal transparency course, we have already heard, for instance, we have colleagues who are traveling right now to up to 30 countries. And particularly, for instance, in the Middle East, we've already heard that there's demand for an Arabic version of the fiscal transparency course. And so we're going to actively work on that in the next couple of months to get that online and to transfer that version of the course alongside the other language versions of the course so that that can continue to live on as a practical resource. The third piece of the transfer process is that we will soon be launching on Tuesday, and I will put a landing page on the chat shortly. We will be launching a tax transparency course that we worked alongside GIFT and the University of Sheffield over the last few months on. It is based very heavily on the tax transparency principles of GIFT. And that will now be a 6-module course that we will launch from next Tuesday on through to the end of July. Over the course of 6 weeks, we'll be releasing the 6 modules. And I hope you guys will be part of that campaign alongside with us as well. And that resource will also continue to live on the IBP website eventually. And so we will make sure that we can still get these essential resources into the hands of the good folks in government who want to do good. And so that's it. I will put a couple of links here on the chat so that you guys know where to turn for these sources. And with that, I'll turn it back to Zuki.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Cynthia. And that's really good to hear, and I'd imagine very encouraging for everyone on the call today. Right. We're now going to have closing remarks. And again, apologies, colleagues, for the time it's taken. We're going to hand over the floor essentially to Carolina Rentera, the Chief of the Fiscal Affairs Department, Public Financial Management Division of the IMF. Carolina, we're really hoping that, sorry to have kept you. Know that your morning has been very tight and your schedule is tight. Thank you for sticking with us. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Suki. I hope everybody hears me well.
Yes.
As many of you have said, today is a bittersweet moment. The sweetness comes from the community, the wonderful words that all of you have shared. And the bitter is that we cannot continue with this wonderful work and wonderful network as it is today, but I'm sure the seeds have been planted for this work to move forward. And for all of you who have contributed, who have been part of this, for all of us to continue finding mechanisms in which we can work together to strengthen fiscal transparency, to support member countries, to really try to move this agenda forward. I think the celebration today has been wonderful. I mean, the way it has been organized, first, kudos to the organizers. I think only a network like this could have an event such as the one we just finished, or we are finishing. I have been working for decades in this job. I have been working with budgets decades, literally. I've never had something like this, something in which you have this commitment from people, this passion of people to a topic that is core to what we do, but that it's also dry. And I think one of the big contributions of this network and of GIFT has been putting the human face behind this and the passion of the people who are working on this and the importance of making this communication clear. So I think it has been a very nice event. There's a legacy. This event shows that GIFT leaves a very enduring legacy. There's a community. There are ways forwards. What Cynthia just explained about how IBP is going to continue providing access to the wonderful work that has been done shows that this is a next step, but it's not a goodbye and it's not an end of the story. GIFT had a key role in creating a momentum for fiscal transparency, in creating trust, in building engagement about different actors, and this is something that we really all should benefit from and applaud. There's a lot of diversity. So we have here reformers, we have lead stewards, we have development partners, we have civil society. All of us, each one of us has a grain to put. We all have to contribute to this wonderful agenda. I think this event also showed how the trust is reflected in the openness, the way how people interact with each other and how support each other. There's a lot that GIF has achieved in terms of helping us entrench the standards, the principles, the practices that governments should have in terms of fiscal transparency for a purpose. The purpose is to provide the best services to citizens and to let citizens know what's happening with their resources, with the taxes they pay and the services they receive. There are principles we worked, and I remember very nicely they working on the principles of fiscal transparency, the participation and accountability and principles for public participation in fiscal policies. These guidelines are important because many times you have public officials that want to do the right thing, but they don't know where to look for. And I think having these principles is a very, very good product of the network. We want to encourage to continue the network, the collaboration, the peer learning. They have to find ways of all of you to stay and us to stay connected. For us in FAD has been a privilege, a real privilege to be part of this of GIFT. And also it allowed us to have this different perspective. I have to say, used to work much less with civil society. We have a very clear mandate from the IMF in how we interact with member countries, but this allowed us to bring these new voices to the work we do and how we interact with government. So that is something that we really want to thank GIFT for. I think Juan Pablo, Raquel, and everybody who was part of the GIFT team have had a wonderful contribution to all of us. I want to thank them, their energy, their passion. It was contagious. There were many moments in which we laughed. There were many moments in which we were looking for ways to continue this effort, finding different funding sources. So it was a collaborative effort. And also, of course, to IDP and Ana Patricia, who also have been key to support and continue with this network. So as it has been said, this is not a closing, this is a transition. Our invitation to carry this legacy, not to continue with the legacy. This should be the beginning of new efforts, of new alliances, of renewed energy for making public finance work for people. We will find a way to get forward. We will continue in FAD, remembering that we have to be open space. We will keep being very technical, but we will have open space for hearing citizens, civil society organization, working with countries, promoting peer-to-peer learning, and continue working because we all know that fiscal transparency, and as it was said by Jean, there has been improvements, but there's a lot still that is still missing. We find problems of misreporting everywhere. We have non-transparency of budget processes, not transparency in taxes, not transparency in debt management. So this is a lifelong commitment that we have to this very important agenda. For me, a privilege and a very sad moment right now, but I wish all of you to continue committed to this, and we will find ways of making this work. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Carolina. And in particular, thank you for leaving us with, I think, the perfect message, which is really around hope and the understanding that our work is important, our work must continue. Thank you so much. I think we can all take that message back with us as we close our meeting today. Thank you to everyone that's joined us. Thank you for being part of the GIFT story. I think we've heard every single one of us, every organization, every government reformer, every civil society reformer is fundamental to this network and fundamental to carrying the work forward. Let's continue to remain connected. I think that's clear. It's a sunsetting, but there's a definite continuation. This community does not disappear. It cannot dare disappear. So please continue to share, to reflect, to connect with one another, to connect across countries. And even after you've moved on from your organizations, I imagine that we can still continue in the ways that we have. On behalf of this amazing network on behalf of the amazing coordination team and everyone who's driven this work, it's a privilege for me to say thank you. Thank you for having been part of the GIFT story. Let's carry it forward together. I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of the day, evening, morning, and whatever lies before you today on this Friday. Thank you very much, and congratulations to the GIFT team over the years.
Thank you.
Thank you, Suki, for a wonderful facilitation.
Fantastic facilitation. Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Adios.
Thank you, Suki.